is good, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy HMK here once again with another Kingdom Hearts 4 video considering the future of one specific aspect, that is Final Fantasy characters within that of Kingdom Hearts 4. Now, it's no secret that Kingdom Hearts fans, Square Enix fans, Disney fans, and Final Fantasy fans alike, for the most part, has considered Kingdom Hearts to be a collaboration, a union, a merging of Square Enix characters, specifically that of Final Fantasy, and Disney characters in this grand adventure that has been here for more than 20 years. That's crazy. But a lot of people have been wondering and have been extremely concerned about the future of Final Fantasy characters when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 4 and beyond that, if Final Fantasy characters are going to be in Quadratum, in the world of fiction, or in any Kingdom Hearts game moving forward, considering that a lot of people consider it to be a very big and vital part of Kingdom Hearts. Now, there has been something that's been going around lately stating that Nomura basically confirmed that Final Fantasy characters are not going to be in Kingdom Hearts games moving forward, which is not true. It's false and it's taken way out of context. But considering what he actually said, I'm very confident that Kingdom Hearts is going to feature more Final Fantasy characters moving forward to varying levels of degree when it comes to cameos, or actually being integrated into a big part of the story. So before we get right into the darkness, be sure to like, share, and most probably subscribe to HMK as we ponder the question of the future of Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 4. Now, when asking Nomura about this subject, Game Informer said this: fans have been very concerned about the lack of Final Fantasy characters in newer entries. Do you still want to dial down on the amount of them in the series, or is Kingdom Hearts 4 a chance to bring in more cameos? Nomura had this to respond: I understand there weren't that many Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. One thing I want to clear up is that a lot of fans are saying that Kingdom Hearts is this collaboration between Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters. But I really feel like that's not the basic concept of Kingdom Hearts. That's not exactly what Kingdom Hearts is. When we released the first title, we only had a few original Kingdom Hearts characters. When they were interacting with these really well-known beloved Disney characters, I felt no one would really know these new characters, so it was harder for them to stand their ground just yet. And so we had a lot of Final Fantasy characters involved to lend a hand for everyone to get to know these original Kingdom Hearts characters better. Now, there are so many original characters from Kingdom Hearts. They are so well loved, and people want to see more of those characters. With Kingdom Hearts 3, since we did have so many original Kingdom Hearts characters, it was hard to find room for including more Final Fantasy characters. We're trying to find a good balance for that, and I know there are some fans concerned about that and weren't too happy and want to see more Final Fantasy characters. That is something we are definitely thinking about. But just with the sheer amount of original characters that we have now, it's hard to say what the exact balance is going to be and how it will play out for Kingdom Hearts 4. We can't really give you a firm reply on this just yet. So there you have it. In the beginning, Kingdom Hearts didn't really have a lot of original characters, so they need characters like Cloud, Leon, Husquall, Yuffie, Aerith, Cid, and Sephiroth, among other characters, in order to get the familiarity going. And throughout time, their presence dwindled a little bit more and more, and I'm glad that Kingdom Hearts 3 eventually got these characters back, a good portion of them within that of our mind. But I definitely get where Nomura is coming from when it came to Kingdom Hearts 3, because it was the end of the Dark Seeker saga. They brought back all these original characters, and there were a lot of them, so I mean, finding that balance between that and Final Fantasy characters, especially considering that Radiant Garden wasn't really explorable in Kingdom Hearts 3, there had to be some accommodations or sacrifice, if you will. But when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 4, I would not be too concerned when it comes to the possibility, the potential of more Final Fantasy characters showing up, and Final Fantasy characters we've never seen before within that of Quadratum. I've had a bunch of theories stating that Cloud and Sephiroth, Quadratum is where they went in order to continue their fight. And with Sephiroth being in Quadratum, the realm of unreality, fiction, and possibly needing to, recover or recuperate, that would be the best point to introduce Kadaj, Laz, and Yazo. I'm just saying. And then Barret could have been there the whole time. And then Tifa, being Cloud's light, could have found a way to follow him to Quadratum. And then we have Kingdom Hearts' own version of Avalanche. And then, considering how Quadratum Unreality Kingdom Hearts 4 has a lot of flavors from a certain Final Fantasy project that never really saw the light of day as a Final Fantasy project, versus 13, Yozora, Noctis, Maga, Aegis, Luxord, and of course the Nameless Star. I'm just saying that we have a lot of inspirations from Fablo Nova Crystal, which I feel could pave the way for characters like Lightning, Snow, Vanille, everyone from 13, not everyone, but a lot of people from 13, and possibly that from a Gato 13, or I should say Type 0. Of course, the characters and the subject matter of that game gets really hanky-panky and mature, but I mean, Final Fantasy games are always mature to a degree, and the more it could dial it down a little bit in order to integrate those characters within that of Kingdom Hearts 4. And cards, Luke Sword, I'm just saying, Quadron will be the best place to reintroduce that whole concept of Kingdom Hearts being that of Disney and Final Fantasy, even though Nomura is like, it's not really a collaboration of that, but I mean, when you have these two iconic series coming together in what is a grand combination, a lot of people consider that like, yo, this should have never worked, but it did. Let's remind that Kingdom Hearts, let's remind those of that potential once again in a new arc, the Lost Master arc, the basic reset, wiping the slate clean for that of Kingdom Hearts. And then when it comes to Nomura sprinkling, I feel a little bit of code within the same interview, he stated that the reason why Final Fantasy characters have been dwindling is to make room and make space for the original characters. But Kingdom Hearts 4 being the new arc of the Lost Masters arc, and he said in the same interview like he's not sure about certain characters from the original Kingdom Hearts, character list and the original realms such as Roxas, Lee, Isa, Ventus, Xion, Terra, Alka, all that good jazz. He's not so sure about them getting a big role in the future of Kingdom Hearts, since we're going to be focusing on Sora, his disappearance, and the whole concept of what's real and what's not when it comes to a reality and reality, fiction and non-fiction. So when it comes to the original Kingdom Hearts characters in Quadron, so far we've got Sora, we've got Yozora, we got Strelitzia, we got Luke Sword, Magia, Aegis, Nameless Star, and then possibly that Riku showing up later on. That's not really a lot of characters. And if, Kairi shows up and they, introduce some more original characters, I feel that's going to have a lot of room to accommodate Final Fantasy characters to take back their spot as the Chosen One. I mean, like, Sora's the Chosen One, the Keyblade's Chosen One, you know what I'm talking about. But that will be a really cool way to flip the script because, back in the day, or I should say as time went on, Final Fantasy characters became cameos while they made way for the original characters to have bigger roles. And now, these original characters could be reduced to cameos such as Roxas, Xion trying to have like a mental conversation with Sora, like, can you hear me? Where are you? And then that could pave the way for Cloud and Sephiroth to continue their arc and have arcs of their own within that of Quadron, which once again is very Final Fantasy like. I mean, come on, Square, just take the model from Versus, take the models from Versus 13, take the models from like remake 7 remake and just plug them into Kingdom Hearts 4. I mean, I'm no developer, but like that doesn't sound too hard. Considering all that what Nomura said and his considering all of that what Nomura said about this, Nomura can literally answer this in the most corporate way possible with like 2 lines of dialogue or not answer at all. The fact that he answered like this, he knows that we want to see more Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy characters interact. We want to see that, and possibly that more of the world ends with you. I mean, come on, Shibuya. It's not the same Shibuya, but Shibuya. I feel that he's gonna truly, come through when it comes to this because he didn't really have to acknowledge this at all. And considering this is Quadron, I'm very Final Fantasy like. I'm confident that we're gonna see more Final Fantasy characters within that of Kingdom Hearts 4. But I want to know what you guys think on this whole perspective, on this whole potential when it comes to the future of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy's future within that future. So be sure to like, share, and most importantly, comment on your theories and what you think, and subscribe to HMK for more Kingdom Hearts content moving forward. And big thanks to my Patreon supporters for helping making this video happen. If you want to find out how you can support HMK for just $1 a month, check out my info in the description box below. Alright guys, till the next Kingdom Hearts video, this has been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.
So you haven't subscribed to HMK yet? Don't piss Xemnas off.